It started with the smell of dust and forgotten time. My grandmother's house was a museum of a life I'd only known in fragments. After she passed, the task of clearing it out fell to me. For weeks, I sifted through faded photographs and moth-eaten clothes. It was on a rainy Tuesday, while prying up a loose floorboard in the attic, that I found it. A small, leather-bound diary, no bigger than my hand. It was unmarked, the dark brown leather worn smooth with age. I expected to find the elegant, looped cursive of my grandmother, but the writing inside was different. It was a sharp, almost frantic script. The first few pages were standard entries from the 1950s, talking about the weather, a new dress, a dance. I was about to dismiss it as a forgotten relic until I saw a date that made my blood run cold. September 4th, 1995. My birthday. The entry for that day read, "A boy will be born today, under the sign of Virgo. They will name him Leo. He will have his mother's eyes and a spirit that yearns for things it cannot name. He will find this book when he is 28. I dropped the diary. My name is Leo. I have my mother's eyes. And I was 28 years old. I told myself it was an impossible, insane coincidence. A party trick left by a relative long ago. I laughed it off, my heart hammering against my ribs. But I couldn't put the diary down. I flipped through the pages, my fingers trembling, until I found an entry for the next day, October 21st, 2025. It read, "The morning coffee will be bitter. A robin will hit the kitchen window, but survive. An email will arrive at 10:17 a.m. with an offer he has been waiting for. He must accept it." The next morning, I made coffee. It was horribly bitter. I'd used the wrong grounds. I stood at the sink, the diary's words echoing in my head, when, thump, a small robin hit the window pane, stunned. It lay on the grass for a moment, then shook its feathers and flew away. My breath hitched. I spent the next few hours staring at my laptop, my eyes glued to the clock. At exactly 10:17 a.m., an email notification pinged. It was from a publisher I had submitted my manuscript to months ago. They were offering me a book deal. I accepted without a second thought. The diary became my Bible. My life, which had been a series of uncertain steps in the dark, was now a brightly lit path. The book was never wrong. It told me which stocks to invest in, turning my meager savings into a small fortune. It warned me of a faulty gas line in my apartment, saving me from a potential disaster. It guided me. November 12th. He will meet a woman named Anna at the art gallery on Elm Street. Her laugh will sound like wind chimes. He must not be afraid to talk to her. I went to the gallery. I saw a woman with fiery red hair, standing before a Monet. When she turned to her friend and laughed, it was the most beautiful sound I had ever heard. That was Anna. Our beginning was written before we ever met. But a perfect life written by someone else isn't your own. The diary became a cage I didn't know I was in. I stopped making decisions. Why would I, when the perfect decision was already written on a page? Every morning, my first action wasn't to kiss Anna, but to sneak away and read the day's entry. Anna started to notice. "Leo, you seem distant," she'd say. "It's like you're waiting for a cue. Just live a little." How could I tell her our entire life, our love, was a pre-written script I was simply acting out? One night, driven by a terrible curiosity, I did something I had promised myself I wouldn't. I decided to read far, far ahead. I flipped through the brittle pages, past months of blissful entries, until I found a date 5 years in the future. The handwriting was different. It was shaky, jagged, stained with what looked like tears. The entry read, June 8, 2030. The rain will be relentless tonight. The old oak in the backyard will finally give way. He will be in his study, celebrating his success. He won't hear Anna's calls from the garden until it's too late. The breaking branch will be swift. He will hold her, but she will already be gone. This is the price for a life without uncertainty. No. This was a future I would not accept. For the first time, I decided to fight the diary. I put our house on the market the next day. It's not safe, I told Anna, pointing to the magnificent old oak. We moved to a sleek modern apartment in the city center, a place with no garden, no old trees. Just concrete and steel. I thought I had won. I thought I had saved her. Then came June 8, 2030. It was raining, a relentless downpour that rattled the windows. We were celebrating my third best-selling novel on our enclosed balcony, our version of a garden. I was in my study, taking a call from my agent. Through the glass, I saw Anna lean against the balcony railing, laughing. And then I saw it. A heavy metal scaffold from the construction next door, loosened by the wind. It fell like a guillotine. The breaking scaffold was swift. I held her, but she was already gone. The diary was right. I hadn't changed a thing. I had only changed the details. Last night, I opened the diary for the last time, intending to burn it. I turned to the page after her death. It was an entry for today. The handwriting was no longer the frantic script from the 50s. It was mine. The entry, written in my own hand though I have no memory of writing it, read, "He now understands. The diary doesn't just predict. It demands. The story must be paid for. And now, his story is over. He must write the beginning for the next person. Find a loose floorboard. Find a lonely soul. The curse must be passed on." On the next blank page, a single date was written. The ink was still fresh. It's for tomorrow. My hand is shaking as I pick up a pen. I don't want to do it. But the words are already forming in my mind. A story for a young woman who will find a diary. A story of love and success. And a terrible, terrible price. The diary sits open before me. And I begin to write.